Billionaires are calling this the next Bitcoin, and now whales are piling in.
There's been some recent developments. With ties to Trump and Grayscale, this is looking like the next 50x.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is your place for all things stocks and crypto. From beginner tips to expert picks. Use this as fuel for your investing journey, because when you're in the know, your money will grow.
This episode of the Bean Pod is sponsored by BitGet.
BitGet is the most user-friendly and secure crypto trading platform for both beginners and experienced traders.
BitGet is the best place to not only trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also all the small cap gems that we discuss every day.
With 24/7 customer support, leverage trading, and a wide array of other advanced features, BitGet sets itself apart from every other centralized exchange.
Through Beanstock's official partnership with BitGet, you'll receive 15% off all trading fees when you sign up using the referral link in the description.
All views expressed by speakers on the Bean Pod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the Bean Pod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is Shane, aka the Jolly Green Investor.
And this is Josh, the Nifty Investor.
Whales are calling this the next Bitcoin, and with some interesting ties with Donald Trump, Grayscale, and maybe even Ondo Finance, this has all the looks of the next 50x.
It definitely does, because there are so many catalysts, and it seems like the perfect situation for this project. We've covered it a few times now on our channel, so congrats to those who have been paying attention and following along over the past 6 months. You should be doing quite well, but I don't think the train stops here. I think there's a lot more in the tank for this project with ties to Trump and what's going on with the American crypto regulations. When you look at Ondo Finance and what they're doing with the tokenization of real world assets and Wall Street 2.0, when you look at Bittensor, when you look at Grayscale and what Grayscale is doing now with Bittensor and this project in particular, I think there's so many tailwinds for this particular altcoin, and a 50x, maybe more.
Yeah, it's still a small cap gem, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's done quite well since we started talking about it. So I think we can start it off by just glazing over the whole Trump thing, right? So what we've been doing and what we've seen being a successful strategy in crypto currently is look at USA-based crypto companies. And the reason for that is obviously the Donald Trump administration is coming into crypto. They're very pro-crypto. They want America to be crypto, the home of crypto, the home of Bitcoin. And we've even seen a potential rumor that they're going to be allowing for tax-free gains on altcoins issued by American companies. So this has us looking at American-based altcoins. Now we know like the big dogs like XRP and even Ondo Finance. These are large caps. They're doing very, very well right now.
Yeah, pull up the 30-day, 60-day chart, 90-day chart on Algorand, on Hedera, on XRP, and these large caps that have been building for years. They are US-based. And they have, obviously, like Hedera has been working with Google and a whole bunch of other organizations within America. I think there's like a tie to the US government as well, right, which is quite interesting. But there is capital that's flowing now into these well-established projects that have been around for, since 2017 or whatever it is, and the so-called dino coins.
Yeah.
But that's where the smart money's going. So let's look at a company now that is also American-based, because again, yes, there's those large caps that are seeing significant gains. But as you start to go down the altcoin cycle and look, after Ethereum explodes and after these large caps explode, eventually there's like this appetite for more risk. And it's like, okay, where can the next ones come from?
Exactly.
So you need to start looking at these smaller caps that are American-based as well. And hence why we've been highlighting AXGT, Axendale so much, because that is a US-based company. But these small caps, it's almost like there's not a ton of them because the SEC has been ruling with this iron fist with Gary Gensler in there.
Right.
They don't have the money and the capital to fight off, these lawyers and whatnot. So there's not a ton. So this one has a ton of tailwinds behind it.
Yeah, for sure. So now when we move into why we're talking about this one again today, it's because it fits all those boxes, right? It is a small cap gem based in the United States of America. It's fully regulatory compliant, and it just so happens to be in the Bittensor ecosystem. So we mentioned Grayscale at the start of the episode, and we mentioned how people are calling this the next Bitcoin and whales are piling in. Well, we're talking about Bittensor, and then we'll get to the altcoin we're talking about today. So Barry Silbert, You know, he's been famous. He's one of the wealthiest individuals in the crypto scene. He was buying Bitcoin back at $10 in like 2009 or something, right? He was an early Bitcoin adopter. He built this Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, one of the largest holders of Bitcoin. He was buying the bottom and he was selling the top, right? So he was dumping on the Bitcoin ETF, and he's done quite well. Now he's shifting his focus to the Bittensor ecosystem.
The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is really important for institutional adoption, because trying to obtain Bitcoin, when I was buying it personally back in 2016, I had to go to my bank. There's like these random ATMs. I had to start jamming cash into, I had to create these wallets. There's nothing online about it. So think about these big players in their suits, these Wall Street guys in 2013 trying to do this stuff. They couldn't. So Barry Silbert created Grayscale. Grayscale created this trust. It was the bridge between traditional finance and obtaining Bitcoin. And that's when it was, like you said, $13. He's now doing the same thing for Bittensor.
Yep.
So he's now opened up a Bittensor trust. So he's allowing institutional investors to now get involved. But now when you look at what the Digital Currency Group, which is a parent company of Grayscale, they've also now started another subsidiary. And this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah, so it's called Yuma, and Yuma is Barry Silbert. He is now the head of Yuma. He is going to be overseeing this new company, which his sole purpose is to basically grow the Bittensor ecosystem, grow projects within Bittensor. And if you look into, there was this big announcement. So that, you know, there's, how many subnets are there on Bittensor now? 64?
Yeah, close to 60.
Close to 60. But what's interesting, and what is just another massive tailwind for this altcoin, which we're about to reveal, is that there's only a couple of subnets that have altcoins that are featured, included in the Yuma portfolio, right? And one of them just so happened to be the altcoin we're talking about today, which is clearly in favor of Barry Silbert, in favor with Yuma, and one of the leading Bittensor ecosystem projects, a top subnet, and that is Sturdy Finance. The ticker is STRDY.
It's really important to highlight that Yuma is focusing on accelerating the growth of decentralization of Bittensor, but they've created this subnet. So Yuma has created this subnet portfolio, and it enhances, it ensures that they receive the necessary support and success required with the technical resources, the connections, and all these things. When you think about the fact that there's nearly 60 subnets, there's only 5 or 6 in this subnet portfolio, and Sturdy was the first one added.
That's right.
And it has a market cap of like 10 million or 15 million or whatever. It's like, yo, there's something here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you look at Yuma, they're not just a company that's investing in Bittensor. They are the third largest validator in the Bittensor ecosystem now. They are active as a miner across 4 subnets, and they're developing and launching specialized AI and ML marketplaces across various subnets. So if you're looking for one company and one person that's going to be extremely active in pushing Bittensor forward, it's Barry Silbert and Yuma. And what subnet have they been bullish on from the start? It's Sturdy Finance. And now when you look at Sturdy Finance in particular, you know, if you've been following this show for a while, you probably already know a little bit about Sturdy, STRDY. They are basically the AI DeFi arm of Bittensor. They're using Bittensor's AI algorithms to come up with all kinds of different ways of investing in DeFi. DeFi is one of the backbones of crypto, and AI and DeFi is such a great match made in heaven, because DeFi can be quite complicated, but with AI doing it for you, finding the best entries, exits, finding the best, you know, APYs, it basically makes investing and earning yield on Bittensor very easy. And another massive bullish catalyst for Sturdy in particular is the announcement that EVM compatibility and smart contracts is coming to Bittensor. I would say there are no other subnets on Bittensor that this affects more than Sturdy, because DeFi needs smart contract capability. This is huge.
Smart contract EVM compatibility makes it so much easier to develop. It attracts more users. It brings more liquidity. It does so many more things for the Bittensor ecosystem, specifically in the DeFi aspect, bringing all that additional liquidity, right? So when you look at like what traditional DeFi protocols do, there's a lot of manual adjustments. It's not as dynamic. With Sturdy, it's automatically done for you. So users are maximizing the returns, whether you're depositing, whether you're taking money out, all these things. And that's what these institutions are looking for. We made our episode 6 months ago or so saying like, look, institutions, they want secure, they want high yields, and they want transparency and security. And that's what Bittensor offers. So now they're getting the security of Bittensor. They're having all this EVM compatibility, liquidity flowing into the Bittensor ecosystem. and they're getting maximized AI-driven yields. 15, 20% returns is crazy. So I understand now why Barry Silbert is so bullish on Sturdy and Bittensor as a whole.
Yeah, think about how Sturdy's performed already so successfully before the inclusion of EVM compatibility in smart contracts. They've now allocated nearly $120 million in user funds. That's insane. And that's before the hundreds of billions of dollars is possible coming into the Bittensor ecosystem through smart contracts and EVM compatibility. So they've already established themselves as a leader, and they have bullish catalysts behind them. And if we haven't convinced you that Sturdy is going to be the next 50x gem based on the Trump tailwinds, based on the Yuma, Barry Silbert, and Bittensor tailwinds, based on the EVM and smart contract tailwinds, well, they have this new partnership with none other than Ondo Finance that was just announced, which provides another bullish tailwind for this small cap gem.
Yeah, for anybody following and is familiar with Ondo Finance, they are a platform that is working on the tokenization of real world assets. They're all about getting yield out on your stable coins, access to treasuries, U.S. treasuries, and all that. They are going to be they're going to be helping to facilitate Wall Street 2.0, which is like a 24/7 on-chain trading of the stock market. So who knows what sort of integration Sturdy can now make now that they're working with Ondo Finance, right? Like there could be a lot of money that ends up pouring into it. And remember, this is a company that is backed by industry giants like Y Combinator and Pantera. Y Combinator has backed Airbnb, Coinbase, Stripe, and DoorDash. Pantera has backed Arbitrum, Circle, Coinbase, Cosmos, Mina. So like it is getting backed by industry giants.
Yeah, so let's connect the dots here. So initially for this Sturdy and BlackRock partnership, they're going to be using, so the backbone of Ondo right now is their USDY, right? It's the Ondo US dollar yield. It's a tokenized note that's backed by short-term US treasuries and bank deposits. And basically what that means, it combines stability and yield. Whereas, Tether, like we don't really know what it's backed by. Some of these other stable coins, you never know. But USDY, Ondo, who does Ondo work with directly and backed by? BlackRock, right? So now they're bringing USDY, this Ondo stablecoin, into the Sturdy ecosystem, combining it with their AI yields powered by the Bittensor algorithm. The potential here is massive. And again, like you just look at, I've never seen a small cap gem like Sturdy with a market cap so low that is working with so many big name companies and has so many tailwinds from Trump, from Bittensor, from Barry Silbert, from Ondo. And you just go across Twitter, and I know we've been talking about this for a while, but it just seems that people are sleeping on this. And when you go and you see, look, okay, we think Bittensor is going to become a top 10 crypto asset this bull run.
For sure.
I think it's going to go from the price around, say it's $500-600 now. I think 5,000, like 10x.
Yeah.
Think about what the price of Sturdy could potentially do. If the actual ecosystem coin Tau does a 10x, what could the best small cap gem in the ecosystem? That's why we say potential 50x. Obviously, this isn't financial advice. You got to do your own research, but this is our personal opinion.
So the better the subnets perform in Bittensor, the more Tau that they receive. At time of recording, they're receiving something like 20 Tau per day. They're one of the top 10 producing subnets in the ecosystem. That equates to something like $1 million per month. So they're earning $12 million per year in Tau based off of how they're contributing to the ecosystem. When Tau inevitably goes to, like you said, $5,000, $10,000, that $12 million a year now becomes $140, $200 million per year. That's what they're generating at a $15 million market cap.
That's crazy.
Do the math.
Yeah.
Simple.
Eventually, the performance and the backing, like Barry Silbert is going to push Bittensor to new highs with this Yuma thing.
Yeah.
And Sturdy is one of their favorite subnets and altcoin picks in that portfolio. Like the writing is on the wall. Not enough people are talking about this, but as always, you guys are getting the best alpha on Beanstock. If you have any questions about Sturdy or Bittensor, let us know in the comments.
And then tune into the next episode.
That one is going to be a banger.
All views expressed by speakers on the BeanPod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the BeanPod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.